Given the vast amount of changes in DayZ, with some of the more controversial ones making players question everything, plus experimental having not the best numbers, we kind of have to wonder, are the devs breaking DayZ? Well, here I'll look at some of the things that seem to be changing that many players seem to disagree with. If you liked the video, please leave a like or a subscribe, it really helps me out. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Well, you're still somehow not as passive aggressive as my actual mummy. Firstly, I think it's fair to make it clear that these things are constantly changing and being adjusted for balancing. So although everything discussed here will almost certainly be in the main stable version, they could undergo some tweaks before release. Let's start with a recent change that sparked a lot of debate: the introduction of diseased predator meat. The DayZ devs have decided to make predator meat potentially harmful, with only a 40% chance of being safe even after cooked. Many players are calling this unrealistic and unnecessary, but is it really? I mean, in real life, even after cooking, some pathogens can survive, making meat dangerous to consume. Freezing or microwaving doesn't always kill off bacteria like salmonella or other potential dangers, so this mechanic is not totally unrealistic. Shout out to Google because I'm now an expert on bears. For example, did you know there are 8 different types of bear? 9 if you include the ones that care. But realism shouldn't be the argument against it. The game literally has infected in it, so realism is a really flexible subject in DayZ, but it does make late game players think, because unpopular opinion maybe, but the end game in DayZ can sometimes be boring. You have gear, food, the best guns, the best armor, a kill list larger than Matthew Broderick's. The only real thing that can end you is boredom and venturing into the northwest airfield looking for a fight with unsuspecting children like anyone who wears a white tank top during poor sports performances. This is why I think base building is highest on the list of what should come next, because we need more to do in the later stage. We need more to worry about and face. So although I get the frustration at killing bears and wolves, now they're so dangerous, just kill a cow. They're still there. But this update is not just about making the end game tougher. The devs have also reduced the size of clothing inventories, which has been met with some not great support from people. This change is a double-edged sword. It curbs the hoarding mentality and makes players prioritize what they carry, adding strategic elements. No more stuffing an entire arsenal into a pair of jeans and then randomly whipping it out like the mood struck you is a huge benefit for everyone. On the other hand, this makes the game harder for newer players. That being said, the infected now do less damage overall to clothing, and I think if you're blocking, they don't do any damage. However, as a long-term player, I see the benefits of inventory size reduction and personally like the change. DayZ is a survival game, and while it's became more accessible over the years, they need to keep long-term players engaged too. Catering just to one side wouldn't be smart or fair, and at the end of the day, it's not the size, right? Right, guys? Next, and I'll cover this one really quickly, is on experimental and won't be affecting stable at all. It's this little logo here. So many people have had an issue with it, saying that it's very distracting, and I agree. However, there is a very important reason it's here: to stop people taking video footage or screenshots of experimental, which, as you know, is a little bit buggy. It's supposed to be buggy, it's experimental. This is where they iron everything out. But people can and have taken content from there and tried to pass it off as the stable version, which hurts everybody. The devs, the DayZ community, the content creators, the players, every single person. So I understand why it's there. I do, however, hope we get a smaller one. Told you small things could be good. The big thing that I think is missed by a lot of players, and sort of the reason I made this video, is the devs have a really challenging job, because right now they're in the midst of balancing 3 individual maps, each with different climates, different sizes, and 2 of them with die-hard fans just waiting for them to screw up. This means every change they make is scrutinized from all angles, and not every decision will please everyone. But who are they supposed to side with? The new players and make it super easy and accessible, damaging longevity and their legacy, or the veteran players increasing increasing its difficulty to the point newer players give up and stop buying the game, hindering the ability of possible future support. There is no clear win here for the devs, but I personally think with these changes, they're not trying to pick a side, they're trying to polish the game, which is something all players have been calling for, and I genuinely do believe they're doing a really good job with it, especially when you consider all of the expansion and everything that's coming with it. But if you want to know what changes you're getting free, click here, or for something else, click here. And as always, until next time.